What's up, guys? It's Jay, MorninAfterKill, and I'm back here on my road to 30. This is a series that I do on my channel where each week we take 1 year of my life and we talk about the significant events and the memories that have come to shape the person that I am today. And right now, I am 29 motherfucking years old. By the time this series is done, I will be 30 motherfucking years old. And this is episode 16, which means in this episode we are gonna be 16 motherfucking years old. And last episode, we ended up with me pretty much getting expelled out of 2 schools, breaking up with my girlfriend, and pretty much having my future looking pretty dim. Now, I should have mentioned at the end of that episode that my grandmom did die before I was 16 years old. However, I didn't include it in that episode, and even to this day, I wish I felt worse about my grandmother dying than I really do. But she died at a time at which, pretty much everything in my life was going to shit, and I was pretty much emotionally numb to everything that's happened. So, it didn't really affect me as much as it did with my aunt. Not only that, but it was so close to my aunt dying that it pretty much all snowballed together, and I really didn't get to grieve the proper way that I really should have. But you know what? Things happen. So, right now, we are 16 years old. We've just been expelled out of 2 high schools in 1 year, and one of my worst realizations is coming true, that I might be working in a 9-to-5 and being a dead-end job loser for the rest of my motherfucking life. Now, there's nothing wrong with working a 9-to-5 for your entire life. However, I didn't want to be stuck in a role to where I'd be like working fast food or behind the register at a Walmart or something like that. But this is how my life is going at this time. And I get a job at a local supermarket that has just been built. And they were hiring every motherfucker in the area, including all of my motherfucking friends. So, I actually get a job at this supermarket pushing carts, which is a pretty shitty job. It is a really shitty job to do. However, one of my partners outside was a girl, and she was actually very, very cool. She wasn't the greatest looking girl. She was a little bit chunky. She had some pretty big tits, and the ass just really haven't developed yet. I mean, she's 16 years old, but she was like one of those late bloomers, so guys weren't really paying attention to her, and she just ended up being really chill. And over the past like few weeks that we worked together, she got really close to me, really comfortable with me, and we were talking about, how I lost my virginity, the girl that I broke up with, and she confessed to me that she was still a virgin, and she just wanted to get it out of the way, because, guys weren't really taken to her because she didn't really bloom yet. So I was like, I can help you out with this. So we ended up becoming fuck buddies. And I would go over to her house after school. She lived like maybe about 1.5 miles down the road. So I'd hop on the bus or either my bike and I'd just hightail it over her house. Her dad didn't get home until 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So this is the first time that I'm actually fucking a girl in a bed. Because the other girl that I was with, we would always do it in like weird fucking places. Because, her parents hated me, so we couldn't really do it at her house. Couldn't do it at mine. Every now and then some things would happen at like a fucking playground or in the woods. I know, it's really weird, but when you think about it back when you're a kid, you're like, you know what, this is fine. Let's just lay down right here, toss a blanket down, and get this shit going on. And you're like, man, this is romantic, but it really isn't. It's just 2 kids fucking in the woods. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine if you were just strolling along and you see 2 16-year-old kids fucking in the woods, right? Exactly. That's how I look at it now. But going back to that anyway, so we're fuck buddies, we're hanging out for a while, and I mean, I am fucking her every which way to motherfucking Sunday, and I am getting good at bed sex. I'm not having any problems, fucking lubricating it up and trying to get up in there, cause at first, you're a little bit awkward, and you might need I have to, go down there and, look at what you're doing, try to get it. Now I am an expert. I can fucking boom, hit that hole in the motherfucking dark without no motherfucking problems. So, anyway, I'm getting some sexual experience off of just being a fuck buddy with this girl, which is, pretty cool, until it came to an end with, she was working, and I was just getting off, and she wasn't getting off for, like, another 2 hours, so I was in the men's room, and I was going to the bathroom, checking out my shit, fixing my shirt before I left to make sure I looked a little bit presentable, because we used to have to wear these shitty aprons and button-down shirts, and I didn't want to walk out of there walking down the street in a goddamn fucking dress shirt. So, you know, I would take that off, get another shirt on, fix my hair, you know, make sure that I'm looking so smooth and fresh and clean. And she came in there. Now, one of the jobs that you have when you're a cart pusher is when there's no motherfucking carts to push, you have to clean the bathrooms. So she came walking in there, and I was like, hey, what's going on? She's like, no, you know, just cleaning the bathroom. And she came over, and things started to happen, and I don't even know why, but she ended up opening up my zipper, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna lean up on the fucking stool, on the fucking sink, you know, the sink counter. So here I am with my bare ass in the sink, and she's giving me a pretty decent blowjob. She wasn't the greatest, but she got a lot of practice from, you know, the times that we would go over her house and her dad wasn't home and shit. So, you know, it was pretty decent for being 16 years old. She forgot to lock the motherfucking door to the bathroom, and in walks the motherfucking butcher of the supermarket. And I was like, whoa, hey, and he just turned around, bright ass red face, and just walked away. And, you know, we finished up, we did our thing, and I walked out of there, and as I'm walking out of the front, if you know a supermarket, you'll see like a whole row of registers, and there's always like a podium where the head cashier or the manager that's on duty will be standing there. And I'm trying to get past this motherfucker without him seeing me. Well, this motherfucker sees me through all the islands of cash registers and makes a beeline towards me. He's like, hey, we need to talk. You know, Mike the Butcher, he said he found, you guys in the bathroom, you know, having a little bit of a inappropriate touching. And I was like, yeah, you know, I went to go high five him, and he's like, no, man, no high five on that. You're not, like, I'm gonna have to fire you. And at this point, my fucking mind was like, boom! I fucking exploded, man. I ripped my apron off, I threw that shit in his face, and I was like, man, fuck this, man. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And I fucking ripped up my dress shirt, and buttons went flying all over the place, and I fucking left. I tried to look cool because I didn't have a car at this time because I don't have a license, so I can't fucking spin wheels on the way out of there. So I gotta just fucking grab my bike and try to fucking haul ass away looking cool as shit. In the end, I looked like a punk-ass kid screaming fucking curse words throughout a supermarket where there's little kids and fucking, you know, adults with their families, and it was a real big spectacle, a real big scene. But let me tell you a side story to that. One of my friends actually worked there. I'm not going to really go into the details of their names, but when they got fired from there, they fucking did all types of shit. They pissed all over the computers in the break room. They fucking, dude, they took the fire extinguishers and they were blowing them around, and they even put a bunch of metal into the microwave, punched a hole in the microwave, and made the microwave shoot out a shitload of blue fucking sparks. Even though I wasn't involved with that, I have to tell that story because it's fucking epic. That is fucking amazing. And it happened at the same place. So everybody that got fired at this place are people that were hired just because they needed to get the store open. So they hired a bunch of really shitty workers. So I don't work at the supermarket anymore. And needless to say, the girl got fired too. So I went and got a job at Burger King. I know, right? Pimp status. Up in the Burger King wearing the crown. So anyway, I got a job there. And the girl needed a job, so she ended up applying, and she got the job too, which is perfect because I'm working the drive-thru, and drive-thru is a lot like commentating, you know? I'm keeping the orders going, I'm talking to people, I'm having fun, I'm laughing. I was actually really good at the drive-thru. Now, another thing about the drive-thru is the register stays open all the fucking time because you always have to constantly make change, and you can't wait for the register to open, so you gotta make your change in your head. So people would come through and they were like, Whopper with cheese with a Coke, which back in the day was $4.11. They'd come up, I would have the change ready for them, I would stick that money on the side, I'd never rung up their shit, and I would just go grab a Whopper and fries, because they're always made at Burger King. They're always made, so I just had them lined up there. I fucking, every time I would do that, so I'd do that like, maybe like 4 or 5 times a night, and go home with like 20 bucks in my pocket. I know, right? I fucked up, man, I shouldn't have been doing it. But nobody really give a fuck. The manager actually caught me one night and he brought me into the office, and he goes, dude, we're $23 short. And I found out that the dude that was working next to me was ringing up the goddamn orders I was sending out, trying to get me fired. But the manager, since I was cool with him, and I used to work a ton of hours for being 16 years old, and I used to rock that drive-thru, man. I used to have people out in like 45 motherfucking seconds. I was fast. I was like, what's up, the Burger King? You gotta take your order. And they'd be like, boop, 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 having a good time. I used to love working drive-thru. So anyway, the manager was like, hey, dude, you're like $23 short on this register. And I was like, oh, that sucks. He was like, go back up front and check to make sure there's no money laying around. He knew what he was doing. He knew that money was in my pocket. He goes, go see if you left a $20 bill up by the register or something. So I went out there and fucking, kind of searched underneath where the till was, and off camera, since I was bent down underneath there, I pulled the 20 out of my pocket. I was like, oh, yo, Kurt, I found it right here. And he was like, good shit, yo, good shit. So you're only $3 short. I don't have to write you up for that. And you don't have to get any type of, reprimand from corporate or any type of the big bosses. Because he was just an assistant manager. But he was cool as fuck. Every now and then, he used to give me a ride home to work, too. Really motherfucking cool guy. So anyway, I'm working at this drive-thru. I have the fucking girl that I got fired for getting a blowjob from at Superfresh on my fucking breaks at Burger King. I used to get high, go in the back. There was a fucking area that was next to a store, like right across the street, that was secluded, and there was a fucking chair back there. So I'd go back there, chill, smoke my weed, and that girl would come back and suck my dick on the lunch breaks. I know! It's fucking terrible. It really is. And this went on for a few months. Things were pretty good, I actually got into another alternative school, which, let me explain that to you real quick. That alternative school was fucking amazing. The guy that ran it was somebody that went through a lot of problems himself as a kid, with school and being a punk ass and fucking sometimes just being a little bit smarter than your teachers and, falling behind because you're actually ahead. And that's pretty much how this school was ran. It was like a custom curriculum for every student that was in there. So there's only about 24 or 25 students in there. It was categorized as a private school, so they used to get like grants and shit from all these private places, and it was actually better than a regular school. And for like fucking gym, instead of going out and fucking throwing the football and shit around, they used to take us to the local bowling alley and we would go bowling, or they would take us to the local like YMCA place, let us play basketball and shit like that. But fuck that! I went bowling, motherfucker. Bowling is expensive. And you know what? If I can get a free 3 games in a bowling once a week for going to this school, it wasn't that bad. And the school had lunch breaks too. Like every fucking hour, they would let us go outside and fucking smoke a cigarette and shit. And the teacher I had was drop dead motherfucking gorgeous. But we'll talk about that another time. I just wanted to let you guys know what kind of school it was. Really fucking awesome. So anyway, things went on like this at Burger King for a long time. I worked there for a bunch of months, but I stopped fucking with this girl about 2 or 3 months after I started working at Burger King, because I met a girl through my friend's sister. And before we talk about that girl, the girl that I used to fuck with was now at Burger King sucking the manager's dick on his lunch break. So that is fucking amazing. And that helped me with my job security. It helped me because I told him that she was very good at sucking dick. And he was married, had kids, he was like 40 years old, but he would come to work and get his dick sucked. That's how it is in Jersey. Everybody's just trying to get their dick sucked. So anyway, I meet this girl through my friend's sister. They're like best friends. And this girl actually worked at the supermarket that I got fired from. So she knew my history. She didn't really give a fuck. And we ended up hooking up. We ended up becoming a couple. And things were pretty good. She was 18 years old. She had her license. She had a little Grand Am back then. So she used to take us all over wherever we needed to go. And that was pretty fucking awesome. And one night, I was down in the basement on the cordless phone because we didn't have cell phones back then. And I was talking to her, and, it's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. She's like, hey, parents aren't home. You should come over. And I was like, what? I'm gonna get some pussy, right? So I fucking hightail it to her house. And, I'm 3 blocks away from her house, walking down the street in one of the most dangerous hoods you'll ever fucking live in. This is one of the worst cities in New Jersey. Now, there are some very terrible cities in New Jersey, so trust me when I say that when you're 16 years old, and I hate to say this, but when you're white and you're walking through one of the roughest ghettos in America, it's not a very good deal. So I had my brand new Averex jacket on. And some people that know, like, this time period, you'll know what an Averex jacket is. It was like a leather bomber jacket, had the leather sleeves, nice plush, patches on it and everything. Really sick jacket. Cost about like $600 motherfucking dollars, which is a really expensive jacket, especially for back, what was this, like 98, 99, somewhere around there. I think it was 1999, and I'm walking and it is fucking cold as shit out, but you know what, I'm going to get some pussy, so I don't care, or so I thought, because a few blocks away from her house, I felt thump, and I was like, what the fuck? And I turned around, and I thought it was one of my friends, playing a joke on me, like pushing me. I turned around, and fucking, there's like 3 motherfuckers there. So fucking, I throw a wild punch, hit one of them, and I get hit from the side of the head, and I stumble the fuck down. Now, I'm trying to get up, and they're stomping me the fuck out. And if you've ever been stomped the fuck out, the best thing you could do is just get stomped the fuck out, Trying to get up is not gonna help things out very, very much. And then when I finally turn over, when they're ripping my fucking jacket off, I see it. There is a pistol in my motherfucking face. So I know that this is a real jacket. This is not my friends fucking with me, and I just gave up the jacket. So like, take the motherfucking jacket. I had money in my sock anyway. Didn't fucking matter, but they didn't take the check there. That's why I always keep my money in my motherfucking sock. But I don't keep it there no more. I'm not gonna tell you where I keep it. You're not gonna find my money unless you want to go dig it all up on my balls. So, anyway, I got jacked about 2-3 blocks away from my girlfriend's house. I get there, and fucking her little brother starts flipping shit. Now, I'm not supposed to be over there, but when I got there, instead of being real quiet and knocking on her window, I just pounded on her front door. Her brother fucking starts screaming, I'm gonna call mom! I'm gonna call mom! So I was like, fuck it, man. I hightailed it out of there about a block and a half around the corner. There's a bar, and I walked in. I was like, hey, dude, can I fucking, check my face out? I just got all fucked up. And the dude behind the counter was like, oh, shit, dude, yeah, hell yeah. Go use it. Now, I'm 16 years old, just walked into a motherfucking bar. Usually, they'd kick me the fuck out. But when I got into the bathroom, I found out exactly why these motherfuckers were freaking out. I looked, the side of my face is busted wide the fuck open. There is blood pouring down the side of my face, and I move my hair out of the way, and I touch it, and there is, like, I shit you not, like, a dime-sized hole in my motherfucking head. And I was like, oh, that is not fucking good. I thought I got shot. And didn't hear it. What ended up happening was I got pistol whipped. That first thump that I got hit from behind that made me stumble and turn around, that was a pistol going into the side of my head. And what happened was the hammer on the back of the gun fucking broke open my skull. So I got the fuck out of there. I went to that bar, I cleaned up a little bit, and I went and I was like, can I use the phone? And he did. And I called my mom. I let her know what happened because, me and my mom weren't on the best terms. But you know what? When you're fucked up like that and you have nowhere else to turn, you always go back to your mother, don't you? I mean, that's pretty much, it's funny how life is. Like, I hate my mom with all my fucking guts, but at that point, I couldn't think straight, and the only person I knew who to call was my motherfucking mom. So I told her that, and I went there, and then the bartender was like, can I get you anything? I was like, man, a rum and coke would be sweet. And he put a rum and coke down. He didn't even card me or anything. Now, mind you, 16 years old, I had a little bit of a goatee going, I looked a little bit older than my age, but you know what? I'm pretty sure the bartender knew I wasn't 21, but he hooked me up with a drink anyway, because I got knocked the fuck out. Like, I'm serious. You ever see Friday and Chris Tucker goes, damn, you got knocked the fuck out, right? That is what happened to me. I got pistol whipped and robbed for my $600 motherfucking coat. So, the rest of the year pretty much goes standard, I got a couple stitches in my head. They also put, like, little fucking plate there, man. Like, a little screw because there is a little fucking, like, where the skull cracked. They wanted to make sure it didn't crack anymore. So, that pretty much fucking sucked. The rest of the school year, I ended up just finishing that out. No problems at all. You know, I was working and having a good time. Now, towards the end of the school year, I pretty much start to get tired of Burger King, tired of the bullshit. The manager that I mentioned before that let me get away with murder, he ended up getting transferred to another Burger King about 6 miles away. They gave him his own store, and I wanted to work there so bad. But the new bitch that they brought in there, I swear to God, fucking Miss Louise, yo. Let me tell you something. If you meet somebody and she calls herself Miss Louise, oh boy, run the fuck away. This bitch had an ass 5 miles wide, and she was like now, she was like 300 fucking pounds. Now, that's not a problem, but this was a huge bitch. She was like 6'3", and her ass barely fit behind the motherfucking cash register. So, it was a pain in the ass with her around, trying to walk around, trying to get around her. It was easier to walk all the way to the back, up to the front, to get out of the fucking front area, than it was to try to squeeze around her big fat motherfucking ass. So, I quit Burger King. I said, take this job and shove it up your big fat ass, Miss Louise. I quit, and I threw my crown down, because instead of wearing a hat, I was the asshole sitting back there with the fucking paper crown on, because I liked my job, and I liked being silly, you know. I liked making the people laugh, and the people smile, and the kids liked it. Kids liked it. But you know what, the one thing? If the ladies had fucking crying kids in the motherfucking car, I used to take the fucking ketchup bottle and squirt it to the inside of the top of the bun, so it would inject the fucking kids meal fucking cheeseburger with ketchup in the top of the bun like a jelly donut, and it was filled to the max. So if their kids were crying in the fucking drive-thru and pissing me off, they would get a fucking cheeseburger filled with ketchup, and the first time they bite it, it's gonna go all over, guaranteed, especially if the kid's eating it in the car, and it's gonna spill all over the front of their shirt and get the kid in a little bit of trouble. Now, is that fucked up? Yes it is. But you know what? If you come through a drive-thru and you have a crying motherfucking kid, and the kid is crying into the motherfucking loudspeaker while you're trying to get this kid a motherfucking chicken nuggets, you know, fucking Happy Meal or whatever the fuck they're getting, they deserve it. They deserve it. So, I quit Burger King, and pretty much the rest of the year, I take my last paycheck, and we buy a shit ton of weed, because I'm still smoking weed at this point. I haven't mentioned it because I'm smoking it every motherfucking day. So we buy a large amount of weed, and we start flipping it, and I start selling it to the neighborhood kids. And then this area is where pretty much we become the kingpins of the neighborhood when it comes to the chronic connection. And I'm not just talking about my neighborhood, I'm talking about the whole motherfucking township. There was kids coming from the next school district over to our area to come buy some chronic off us because we had it like that, and we are flipping and making dough galore. I'm talking about we're making like $1,000 a week off this shit. We were pocketing some real fucking money, and nobody in the neighborhood fucked with us because some of the connections that we went through were actually some real gangsta ass motherfuckers. And I didn't know it at the time, but these motherfuckers were pretty much straight up gangbangers, and you know, nobody fucked with us. We went to the basketball court, there is a dude talking shit there, and I was like, man, you better stop running your mouth or I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. And he goes, oh yeah, that's cause you're a faggot. Boom! I hit that pussy hard. He fell back. My buddy, he turns towards my buddy, and my buddy was like, oh shit, and boom, he hit him again. This kid turns back to me, and he starts stumbling my way, and boom, I hit him with the last shot. He goes down in the fucking area right above his eye. Like, if you've ever seen a fucking boxing fight, this is the first time I've ever inflicted this type of fucking damage. And I had a lot of pent up rage and frustration, and I hit this kid with everything I fucking got, and we split his eye open pretty fucking badly. Like, it looked like he was in a UFC fight. So after that, you know, we fucking got the fuck out of there, got out of the basketball courts, went back fucking home, smoked some weed, changed the clothes because we had a little bit of blood on them. And, you know, cops are always called when shit like that happens. However, this time, no cops were called because everybody in the neighborhood knew not to fuck with us, so they wouldn't call the cops on us because they were afraid of us coming back and beating the shit out of them even more. So even though I shouldn't be as proud of this as I am. But you know what? At this point, it felt really good to actually feel kind of important. Like, people that I didn't even know would be like, yo, what's up? When I'm walking down the street, nod their head and shit. And, you know, being a white boy in the ghetto and getting that type of respect, you know, it felt real fucking good. Like, people were like, man, you guys don't want to fuck with these people. These people will put the motherfucking hurt on you. And one person didn't know, and this is where we're gonna end it out, because this motherfucker slapped the girl that I was with at this point, the girl that I was trying to get some pussy off of when I got jumped. You know, we were together for a very long time, and she was at work, and he actually worked there, so I know who the fuck she was talking about. And she was like, she came home crying, and she was like, he slapped me. And boom, we all got in a motherfucking truck, went over to his house. We busted up his windshield, his fucking truck. He wouldn't come the fuck out. We beat the living shit out of his car. And then we made a mistake. And I fucking kicked the fucking door open. And we didn't go in, but he wouldn't come out of the motherfucking house because he went upstairs fucking hiding in his goddamn fucking bedroom. One of my buddies fucking kicked over the TV. And then we left. And nothing ever came of it. No cops ever came investigating and everything. But later on, next year, in the next episode, that is gonna come back to bite me in the motherfucking ass. So, we're gonna end it out right there. My name is Jay, MorninAfterKill. Make sure you guys rate, comment, subscribe. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you could throw a thumbs up on this video, I would highly appreciate it, because it gives me motivation to make more videos for you motherfuckers that are watching my motherfucking videos. This was episode 16, where we pretty much took over the neighborhood. And, you know, we were pretty much the Mac Daddies. But I don't recommend you guys doing any of this shit, because this was another lifetime for me. This is not the person that I am today, and not the person that I want to be. Even though back then, we were still pretty nice with the money that we had. Like, if there was an ice cream truck coming by, we would buy ice cream for the little kids out in the area and hook them up. Even though one time, when I was running after the ice cream truck because he wouldn't stop, and I was screaming, stop! Yo, we want ice cream! And I turned back and I was like, yo, you guys want anything? And I turned back around, and boom! I ran back into the fucking back end of this goddamn ice cream truck, and I split my motherfucking forehead open. Wasn't that bad, didn't need any stitches. I had a little bit of knot on my head, and all my friends fucking laughed, and the kids in the neighborhood had a good laugh of it. But, you know what? Like I said, even though we were doing some pretty fucked up shit, we were still some pretty nice fucking people, and we were just doing what we had to do to get by, to make money in a shitty area, in a shitty neighborhood, with a shitty life, in a shitty city, in a shitty part of a shitty motherfucking state, which is New motherfucking Jersey. Even though I love New Jersey, there are some pretty shitty areas of New Jersey. So, like I said, my name is Jay MorninAfterKill. Make sure you guys rate, comment, subscribe. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you could throw a thumbs up on this video, I'd highly appreciate it. And I'm gonna see you guys later.